welcome and good morning. This is P.4 English, Term 3, and I believe whoever is watching this video has already bought the Term 3 workbooks in order to follow these lessons in a meaningful way. My name is Chamande, and I'm taking you through this workbook for Term 3 of P4. We've so far reached page 11. For those of you who have been watching our previous videos, you know this is how far we have gone. Page 11 has something to do with poetry. Poetry has its vocabulary, just like other topics in English. So let's go through the vocabulary. Not many words, P4 term 3, but when you go to P5, words normally increase. P6, the vocabulary list is always longer. Then P7, a much longer list. P4, we have 6 words here as our vocabulary in this topic. And let's go through them. Here you need to master the pronunciations, the definitions. Learn to pronounce, learn the definitions of those words. Then, most importantly, you have to master or to learn how to construct sentences using these very words that are given to you. Let's go through the list of these 6 words. The first one is poetry itself. So the topic is the new word we are learning about still. We have poetry, then poem, poet, poetess. This is the opposite of this. This is a man or a male person who writes poems. Then this one is a female person who writes poems, a poetess. Then stanza plus the last word, which is anthology. Let's go through the list once again before we talk about other things. Poetry, poem, poet, poetess, stanza, anthology. That's our list. That's our list of new words in this lesson. So the teacher is emphasizing one point here, that is to construct oral sentences using each of the words given above. Think of any word you see here, then use it to construct your own oral sentence. Oral means not written. Just read the word. Okay, the word is anthology. Let me construct a sentence using the word anthology. The word is poem. Let me construct a sentence using the word poem. That's what the instructions are telling you to do. But before you construct the sentences, you're supposed to master the definitions. The definitions are given on page 11 of the workbook. Still, the teacher provided you with his own examples, sentence examples, that is, using the word given. For example, I see the word poetry in that workbook. We are saying poetry means the art of writing or communicating resembling poems. In other words, the art of writing poems. That is poetry. One example here, the Ugandan national anthem has very good poetry. That's my example. One can say we learn about poetry once a week at our school. We learn about poetry once a week in our school. Next is the word poem. That is a composition written in broken rhythmical lines. When those lines are broken, the group forms a stanza. A group of lines in a poem is a stanza. In fact, the word stanza itself is defined here as a fixed number of lines forming a unit of a poem. That is, forming part of a poem. That's the definition of stanza as shown here. Then poet, that's a writer of poems. Normally this one is a male one. Then poetess, a female writer of poems. Final, anthology, which means a collection of poems in one book. Have you ever seen a book of poems? Yes, that is an anthology. A collection of poems in one book, that is an anthology. So, looking at those words, like I've told you, after mastering the definitions as given by the teacher, you'll be able to construct oral sentences using your mouth, not your pen. Oral sentences using each of the words shown above. After that, after constructing those oral sentences, let's turn to page 12 to see what is there in your workbook, not on the board. So on page 12 we have a poem, and the instructions are saying, read the poem carefully about a diary and answer questions about it in full sentences. In full sentences. If you want to pass English, you've got to answer section B questions in full sentences. Answer lazily, one word, no mark, no mark, no mark. And then you'll see your paper with 32%. That is F9, because you did not answer in full sentences. Serious people are meant to answer in full sentences. That's what is required in English. You read the diary and understand it very well, then you'll be able to answer those questions like the teacher has told you in full sentences. Let's look at number 3. What does the writer mean by the phrase without one in stanza 1? Sometimes we recommend that you read the poem, the passage, the advert, any text that is given to you, the dialogue, 2 times before you start answering any of the questions. Why do we recommend that you read 2 times at least? To make sure you'll be able to answer things you understand. Let's look at the stanza 1 itself. I will not read the whole poem because of time. We have a lot more stuff to discuss. Poem. A diary. It is my diary. Without one, I am forgetful. With one, I am reminded. Oh, I love my diary. That word love appears somewhere in number 9, meaning you can underline it. So, let's repeat stanza 2, like I said. Stanza 1, like I said, it's better to read the poem twice. I'm only reading stanza 1, the rest we'll see. A diary. It is my diary. Without one, I am forgetful. With one, I am reminded. I love my diary. What does the writer, number 3, what does the writer mean by the phrase without one in stanza 1? We are supposed to answer that simple question in full sentence. Be careful. Now, how best do I construct? Can I construct my answer? What does the writer mean by the phrase without one in stanza 1? The writer means without a diary by the phrase without one in stanza 1. Because here, if he says a diary, it is my diary, without one, without a diary. Yes. So the writer means without a diary by the phrase without one in stanza 1. Remember to maintain the quotation marks as used in that expression or in that phrase without one. It is quoted, you also answer quoting it. Let's be careful. Why do you think the diary without a calendar is fake? Why do you think the diary without a calendar is fake? This question is already answered from the poem, so be careful to go and check. Then you confirm the answer. You come here and you answer in full sentence. Questions of why do you think have answers beginning with I think. Don't say we. You can refer to many people or one, but in this case, you are not many people answering this question in that room. You are all alone, so you say, I think. In this case, you are not many people writing the same answer in the examination room. You are only alone with that paper of yours, and you are wonderful hand writing your answers. So be careful. Do not answer saying we think. We think means you are cheating. You are discussing these things with other people, so you are many. So you say, I think the diary without a calendar is fake because blah blah blah. Okay, you will answer after reading the passage, the poem. Write number 9. Write the opposite of love as used in the poem. Write the opposite of love as used in the poem. Love is stanza 1, the last line. Oh, I love my diary. If you don't love the diary, then you hate it. Okay, let's go to the next piece of comprehension, which is on page 13, and that is a dialogue. Do the same trick. Read, understand, and answer questions in full sentences. And then before you answer, in comprehension, we recommend that you highlight or you show the teacher the source of your answer in the dialogue. check the dialogue and confirm my answer is from this line. You underline it, then you copy and write it in full sentences. So with that, allow me to drive you ahead to the structure part, still on the same page 13. Using yes and will ahead, or no, blah blah blah, will not. Meaning this is positive or affirmative, then this side is negative. Negative sentences have a not. Affirmative sentences or positive sentences do not have a not. So you are going to have two possible answers here. That is either yes, that is affirmative, or no, which is negative. Examples. Will you attend classes tomorrow? The answer should be yes, meaning you're going to answer without the word not, or without the word no. So your answer will be no, not no, yes, I will attend classes tomorrow. Check the spelling of tomorrow. Double R, single M. Full stop. Yes, I will attend classes tomorrow. There's something very important here in your answer, and that is punctuation. Let your sentence be punctuated with two commas. With a comma and a full stop. Those are two punctuation marks. We need a comma just after yes, and a full stop at the end of that sentence. Answer without punctuating, we'll just say, thank you for trying. Your answers are correct, but the punctuations are poor, meaning nothing is good for marking here. So, will Maria complete her homework before noon? That's my next question, or next example, which will be the last one. Will Maria complete her homework before noon? Our answer is no. So we're going to say no, followed by a punctuation mark, and that is a comma. No, Maria will not complete her homework. Space, isn't that? No, Maria will not complete her homework before noon. Full stop. No, Maria will not complete her homework before noon. If the teacher underlines his answer, what about you? Especially in your exercise book. What about you? If the space given to you is not enough, whatever words you add, you must underline them. So, those are my only examples. And no means the not must be part of your answer. A yes means forget about the not in your answer. So, that is what I can say about the use of that structure. Yes, blah, 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 will, and no, will not. Where do we have our activity? Our activity is on page 14 of the workbook. Yes, we have questions that require to answer using yes, then those that require to use no as your answers. Altogether there are 10 questions, 5 about the use of yes, then 5 about the use of no as your answer. So let's go to another activity, and that is still on the same page 14, guided composition. These questions most kids like, they are very easy, just one word you fill in and go. But yeah, everything requires some bit of what? Input. You need to put in some effort, yes. Don't just say, oh, this one is very easy, let me just throw words there and I go away. Write the words clearly. Write the words neatly, please, if you want to excel in this subject. One mistake I see most kids make is to write the words in pencil, then they go back and write in ink. We recommend that you write everything in ink. Why? When you write in pencil, sometimes you forget to go back and erase the pencil because there are kids I know who normally start with this question when answering questions in the paper. They start with this, they fill in pencil, then they go to other questions, they now start answering normally, that is in ink. By the time they finish, there's no time to fill in and complete this. Better, you answer with care when you, like, if I read, one day, there were dash friends who wanted to find out how their dash would be. If my first answer is timetable, I take timetable and I write it there. That is, in fact, the best way to answer it is you have to first read and understand the whole story, then you look at the new words used in the options given in the frame at the bottom. That's when you can start answering. If you just read while answering straight away, sure you're going to make mistakes. You fill in timetable at first, in the first dash. By the time you reach dash number 6, you feel it also requires the answer as timetable. That means one of the two is very wrong. So you have to read the story before you fill in, then you read the words given still before you fill in. Afterwards, you'll be able to fill in sensibly. So we would not recommend pencil work in this kind of work. Please answer in ink and answer neatly. Answer in ink and answer neatly. Let's go to page 15 where we have a calendar. Start the calendar and answer questions about it in full sentences. We have OCT 2020. That's October 2020 because OCT is the short form of October. Is it asked about in these questions? I can't see it anywhere. Let me say something about question D. Maybe before question D, let's look at the calendar itself first. We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those days are given in capital letters, but in short form or in form of abbreviations. So be careful when you're writing your answers. For us, we need them in full sentences, and therefore, where there's an abbreviation, you're supposed to write it in full. On Thursday, the month started with the first date. So Thursday was the first day, meaning the last day here is Saturday, because 31st is seen on a Saturday. So you look at it carefully and you'll be able to answer the questions that what more should I say about the calendar? Let's go straight to the questions where we have a question, yes, this one I've already answered. C, write OCT in full. Yeah, the teacher's already answered. Next, that's D. What will be the date on 4th Sunday of this month? We don't need that question because it's not very clear. It's not very clear at all. So let's look at question F, which is, which month comes before this one? Which month comes before this one? Your answer will be, because obviously the month is September. September comes before this month. Don't say September comes before this one, because one is used to avoid repeating or to mean the noun that was talked about in the previous parts of the sentence. For example, if I ask, which month comes before this one? That one refers to the word month. So if I say September comes before this one, what does that one refer to? The one in the question refers to the word month. What about the one in my answer? September comes before this one. No, September comes before this month. If you want to answer using the word one, you will say the month of September comes before this one. This one, meaning this month. So be careful with that. Either September comes before this month or the month of September comes before this one. That will be very clear. Then what do you remember about 9th of this month? I remember the day Uganda got high independence on 9th of this month. Okay, write the date of the second Friday of this month. Writing the date. Do not use a full stop at the end of your date, because if you're not writing a sentence, you don't need a full stop in your date. Let's be careful with that. The date can be written either in full, starting with the day, or in short, starting with the date. For example, I can say 9th October 2021. Another one can say Friday, 9th October 2021. That answer, the last one or the second one, requires a comma after the day. If I include the day, I did a comma between the day and the date. Friday, comma, 9th October 2021. No full stop, then only one comma there. If I don't want to use any full stop at all, any comma at all, I'm supposed to use 9th October 2021. That is what I would recommend. Which day do you think the previous month ended? If this one started on Thursday, on which day did the previous month end? Yes, think like serious P.4 children. If today is the first day of today, Thursday is the first day of October, on which day did September end? You're going to think as serious P.4 children. Give the month which comes after this one. Obviously, the month which comes after October is known to you. I'll not tell you that one. Just answer according to what you see, or according to what you know. Next, using a study timetable. Using a study timetable. We have new words once again to look at, and that is library, revise, leisure, return, borrow, textbook, librarian, and lend. We repeat: library, revise, leisure, return, borrow, textbook, librarian, and lend. Maybe a librarian, talk about this. A librarian is that person you know who works in a library. Then a library where books are kept. Normally, most schools in Uganda have places where books are kept, especially textbooks, not exercise books. Textbooks. And who is responsible for those textbooks? The librarian. She's the one who works in that place where books are kept. So librarians work in libraries. Read and understand the word definitions as given in the workbook. Yes, definitions are given in the workbook, just like it is done in other new words that we cover. We give you the definitions, we give you the answer, the sentences you can construct using those very words. Then those are our sentences. On the chalkboard, the teacher is telling you to construct your own sentences using each of the above words. Let them be oral sentences, not written sentences. Oral sentences, construct your own oral sentences using each of the above words. Then we see a written exercise or written exercises on that page 15. Yes, page 15 has written exercises for you to try out and answer about these new words you have learned connected to using a study timetable. Let's go to the structure part of this lesson, and we see using sometimes or usually. Either this, sometimes, which is written as one word, or usually. They are both adverbs of frequency. When you go to P5, P6, P7, your teacher of English will teach about the adverbs of frequency. Yes. Get ready. So these are examples of adverbs of frequency. Examples. Using these structures, answer the questions below correctly. Do you usually revise from the library? Do you usually revise from the library? You can use either yes or no, because my instructions are not limiting you. However, in the workbook, you'll be limited. They'll be showing you which words to, in fact, they have already shown you which words to use. Either yes, not yes or no. Yes, they are limiting you to which words to use. So here I'm going to use either yes or no. Do you usually revise from the library? My answer is yes. Comma. I just check. This one is not different from this. We have already seen how to use yes or no in our answers. Yes followed by a comma. I usually revise from the library. Full stop. Do you usually revise from the library? Yes. I usually revise from the library. Here we are learning to construct full sentences, to answer in full sentences. If you learn that, you'll be perfect when it comes to English, answering English questions. Next, we see, do you usually revise from the library? Let's try answering using no. No, comma, I do not usually revise from the library. No, I do not usually revise from the library. We said a no requires you to use a not in that very sentence. Then a yes doesn't require any no in your answer. This is called affirmative. This is called negative. This is a negative answer. This is an affirmative answer. A negative answer has a no, a not somewhere and a no normal at the beginning. Lastly, as an example, does Maya sometimes revise alone? Try answering using yes. Which answer will you come up with? Yes. Yes, comma, Maya. Sometimes. We are answering in everyday things, so we are not going to say sometimes revise. We use Maya sometimes revises alone. Another one can say no, comma, Maya sometimes doesn't or does not, I prefer full forms, does not revise alone. Full stop. Don't forget to complete your answers. No, Maya sometimes does not revise alone. Members, this should be the end of our examples. That's the end of our examples. But there are some additional activities. Okay, we have an activity on page 17 of the workbook. Page 17 of the workbook has activities with very clear instructions. Answer the questions, answer the given questions correctly. Do you usually have leisure time in a day? Yes, I usually have leisure time in a day. So, what to use in your answer is already given in the brackets. Then, down here we see something like using sometimes. Do you ever buy textbooks to use? No. I sometimes don't buy textbooks for use. Okay. That's what we see in our workbook. You'll use those examples and answer the activities given there on page 17. After that, you see a dialogue that is now composition. You answer the dialogue as you've always been guided. How do I answer the dialogue? I don't just throw my answer there. I have to read and understand. The first statement, let's say from Maria, as shown, then Kiandra is supposed to respond. Now you are Kiandra, you want to write Kiandra's words. They are not given to you. But normally to get Kiandra's words, you have to read and understand Maria's first words, then Maria's second words. Then you'll know what Kiandra said in response to Maria. Then we have a jumbled story on page 18. Yes, read and understand, then answer. I want to tell you to always number your sentences in the jumbled story, but the teacher has done this for you to make it very easy. Numbering is always part of the jumbled story, but here the teacher did it for you. That means for your work will be just to fill in answers. What next? Page 19. We have more comprehension, that is a timetable. Below is Ruthuri's timetable. Study carefully and answer in full sentences. Answer in full sentences. The questions that follow. You read, understand, then you answer accordingly. Then we have a graph, and after the graph we see expression of the future, a topical test. Topical test about expression of the future. Meaning, you can do that work till we meet next time and we talk about democracy. Democracy should be our next discussion, our next lesson about the topic of democracy, under which we will look at the subtopic of games and sports. Thanks for watching. This is the end of our lesson. Stay blessed. If you have any inquiries to make, you reach me on this number 0704 459148. Use WhatsApp to reach me. I know you have data right now, so you'll be able to contact me via WhatsApp on that number. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.